Well, the Fed may not be cutting interest rates as fast as everyone had hoped they would. Redding, California, where I personally lived, expected to be the #1 appreciating city out of the 20 top cities in America, and inflation persists, but the housing market just don't care. I'm Chris Lamb, and this is a market update for the month of February, and I want to go through just some things that will help you understand what's going on with housing, the mortgage market, and ways that you and your family can protect yourselves and potentially take advantage of the opportunities that are here today. The Fed came out in the month of February, the first week of February, actually the last part of January, and they have talked about lowering rates in the year of 2024. Now, it's highly expected that in March, the Fed is going to do the first rate reduction since they started raising back in 2022. But here's the thing. They just came out this week and they said, we don't know for sure if the data is going to allow us to lower the rates as quick as everyone thinks. And, the reason why that's important is because a lot of people are obviously hoping that they can see lower interest rates to save money on house loans, to refinance their property, to get out of credit card debt, to lower their credit card payments. And these are things that would really help people right now in a time where things are still expensive. People that are out buying homes are faced with higher prices, higher rates, and higher costs for insurance in places like California. And it's really something that we all want to see happen. I do think we're going to see it happen this year, but I just think it's going to be a slow process for these rates to come down. And here's the reason why. The reason that rates went up in the first place is because of inflation. And yes, we're seeing inflation come down. Two of the core readings that our Fed depends on, CPI and PCE, are showing signs that they're at or near the target number. But the thing that they don't want to do is have a double dip inflationary period of time, which has happened before, where the Fed has lowered rates too fast and it created a bunch of momentum back into the economy and consumers started consuming again and prices went right back up. That would be one of the worst things that could happen. So I really got to hand it to this Fed. He seems like the first Fed in a long time since I can remember that isn't super politically motivated and is truly trying to correct the path that was created before the pandemic, but largely during the pandemic with all the easy money that was released into our economy. And this is something we're going to want to pay attention to. Now, many of you probably saw that there was an article where CoreLogic released 20 of the top cities to appreciate in California, with Redding, California being #1. Now, that's a very awesome thing to see, and nobody knows where these numbers are going to go. But I think that for a lot of us who have lived here and know what's going on in California, it just makes sense. And the reason why that's important is because there has been so many people over the last few years with rates rising and prices staying just stubborn and barely coming down in most areas that have been waiting for rates to come down before they entered the market. And there's a really big problem with that. #1, every 1% that mortgage rates go down, home values go up. And some say 10%, so if a home price is on average $400,000 today and rates drop by 1%, you're now going to pay $440 for that same property in a very short period of time. The other thing you have to look at is for every 1% that mortgage rates go down, 100,000 people estimated are going to enter the housing market, which is going to create more demand and more competition. And so I think that if someone's trying to time the market right now, I think the worst thing that they could do is bet on either rates going down or prices going down, because based on what we're seeing right now, yes, rates are going to come down, but it's just going to put more demand on prices and prices are going to shoot up. And so there are strategies right now for people to get into a home with a lower payment. There are several down payment assistance programs that have recently come out and a few that are just about to come out. And if you know someone who wants to buy but they're afraid, those are some things you can send me an email or leave a comment, and I'd love to share with you more information depending on the state you live in. But prices are really strong right now. And we're in the beginning of the year, and as we head into spring, it's probably going to be a pretty competitive time. We're going to see multiple offers, and if rates come down, it's only going to make that worse. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is the cost of energy. In Northern California, PG&E raised rates by 22% in January, and it's just going to go up from there. For any of my clients or anyone that is in an area with high cost energy, whether it's in California or any other state, we have a home energy assessment report. Think of it like a home inspection on a home you're going to buy or even the home you live in, where you can get real-time data on what that power bill is and what it will be, and a list of all the recommended upgrades from the government that will create energy efficiency. Many of them you can do on your own by going down the lows and doing things like smart vents and lights and weather stripping. But it also shows many of the incentives that are now available because of the Inflation Reduction Act to get solar battery backup systems or even a new roof. I've had several clients take advantage of that when buying a property or for your existing home if you're someone that has not found a way to get those sort of upgrades on your property and you know you need to. So feel free to send me a DM or to leave a comment and I can get with you and send you one of these reports. It's a pretty exciting time because of what's going on with the grid right now in our country. That's not exciting, but the fact that the government is pretty much making it easier than ever before for people to find a way to be autonomous from the power companies who have a monopoly and they shouldn't. Send me a DM or, like I said, leave a comment. I'd be happy to get you one of those reports. That's it for the month of February. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. Please make sure to subscribe, like, or download, and I'll see you next month.